It is my great pleasure today to interview and introduce you to the CEO of LUX Resorts and Hotels, Mr. Paul Jones. Paul Jones and I have known each other for more than 20 years. He's been involved in the hospitality industry for more than 40 years. Paul, thank you so much for coming for this interview today. We've got some interesting questions here, and I know you're going to have some very interesting answers.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Great to be with you.
You were with Sun Resorts for about 20 years, and there were a variety of properties and brands under that whole group.
Correct.
And then you created and were involved in giving birth to another brand called The One and Only.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a greenfield project from
That's
nothing.
right.
LUX Resorts and Hotels is different. It was a brand that got invented out of a group that was already there that was in deep financial straits. What were you thinking when you agreed to take on that project? Tell us the story.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. I must say, it's very happy to tell the story. I was in London for about 10 years with One and Only, and as president, and I decided to go back to Mauritius in 2010. And on the way back, I was approached by this group to see whether I'd be interested in taking it on. Not knowing much about what the group comprised of, although I obviously knew some of the hotels, I found it quite intriguing. And I thought that it was an opportunity to demonstrate what I've long believed, and that is that it's not about the hardware. It's all about what commonly is known as the software, meaning the people of the hotel business. They are the people, meaning the frontline people who deliver the service and create a special interaction with the guests. And very often I'd heard general managers, myself included when I was a GM, saying, oh, if only I had the brand new hotel, then I'd show you what I can really do. And I was one of those GMs until the epiphany happened, whereby I realized, well, it really isn't about the hardware. And it is all about the software, meaning if you have great people, if they are delivering wonderful service, which you and I have over the years interacted specifically on,
Right.
how to create that special service, then you can have hardware that's not absolutely brand spanking new or absolutely perfect everywhere and deliver an amazing quality, an amazing experience, and score very highly with the guests. Whereas the other way round, if your people are not up to snuff and are not delivering that service, but your hardware is amazing, you will never make it, in my opinion.
Right.
And hence, this group of hotels were aging.
Yes.
The greatest enemy of the hospitality business is obsolescence. Okay. And certainly there was a lot of that around as I went from property to property. And yet, having known Mauritius and been associated with Mauritius for a long time, I could see the people were there.
The passion.
The passion was there. They wanted something, but there was something missing.
Yeah, including leadership to let them bring that passion alive.
Yeah, and so I felt it was a great opportunity to move from working with great hardware, in the case of One and Only, and obviously creating the service through the years and developing a signature style, signature service to go with the brand, but to do it again and do it in such a way that we started with a certain element of mediocrity in terms of the hardware, but then invest heavily in the people.
In the
and
people
service.
side. So
Absolutely.
when you say do it again with the one and only, you invented a brand, but you also had the money to be able to do the hardware and the software same time.
Yeah.
Here, history came along without budget. In fact, it was right on the tail end of the global financial crisis. You had a whole suite of properties that, as you say, were experiencing obsolescence, and yet you wanted to infuse service energy and passion to deliver an outstanding experience.
Absolutely.
I remember you used sort of a tagline of lighter, brighter.
Yeah.
LUX Resorts, the brand with the asterisk,
Yeah.
right? Which became meaning lighter, brighter.
Yeah.
And that was in part because we had to not be heavy on the hardware, but in fact be much lighter.
Yeah, and that was my first message to the distribution partners and said, listen,
Tour operators, travel agents.
exactly. I said, you know me, you've known me a long time, and you know what we can do together
Yes.
as partners. And we can deliver the magic in terms of the experience through the people, not necessarily at the beginning through the hardware.
We don't have the money to build the hardware for that.
But we will catch up, and sure enough, we did,
Right.
and we got instant results. The distribution came out and said yes.
So that's interesting because it says also then that the whole hospitality industry and all the distribution partners, they were being bombarded with more hardware, more promises, but the actual outstanding customer experience wasn't always being delivered. That's what you were promising.
Absolutely.
And so the focus shifted then.
Yeah.
Now, when you shifted from great hardware to great experience through our people, you invented this VPV,
Yeah.
you and the team, the vision, the purpose, the values.
Correct.
Talk about the origination of that and the role it's played.
Okay, we decided that we didn't want a top-down exercise. We got our people together and we delivered a vision of where we wanted to be, and that vision was all about time. We said that essentially people can be cash rich but time poor. And we are the custodians of their time for quite a considerable length of time. And they pay us to take their time at a time when they are totally free, they're not working, they're at leisure, and they're with their partners, they're with their families, and this is so important to them because it's very precious.
Right.
Because back home, this time they don't have it.
Right.
Nobody
They've been
has
waiting
time.
all year for this holiday
Absolutely.
with the family. All the hopes are there.
Absolutely. So we analyzed this and we came to the realization that we're in the time business. You are entrusting us with your time, and we have to make the most of that opportunity that you've given us. We're the custodians of your time, and how do we ensure that we do the best job we can over the period of time that you're with us? In other words, we try to introduce you into the property, into the resort or the hotel in a shorter space of time, so you feel very comfortable.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, people are calling you by your name. It's very personalized, and we ease you in so that your relaxation period is shortened. Exactly, and if possible, even before you arrive, and then you can get into the
real relaxation, the real
Precisely.
enjoyment of the holiday.
Precisely, and then so we say each moment matters. This was the line that we came. And we make each moment.
I remember the moment of modifying that when originally it was each moment matters. Like we recognized that. Then we realized about a year in, actually it's our responsibility. And it became we make each moment matter.
Precisely. And then, of course, as any group or any team, you need the rules.
Yes.
So people need to know that, for example, the other day on the news, I saw the Australian cricketer.
Ouch.
Exactly.
Oh.
So that's not playing by the rules.
Yeah.
So we needed to know what are the rules that we play by.
Yeah.
And those rules are really our values. So this is the glue that glues us together and makes us aligned in terms of how we operate with each other, with our guests. And so that was very important. That whole exercise was done together to generate the 5 values, which we use the hand as the mnemonic, and certainly as stood the passage of time.
Yeah.
But I think moving from that, the purpose.
Right. So you've spoken about the vision.
Yeah.
We make each moment matter. And then there's the 5 values. This is how we're going to behave and what our rules of the road are.
Precisely.
Purpose?
Purpose. And that's really the big thing.
Yeah. But it didn't come first.
No. But the purpose of what are we really doing here, and what do we want everybody to do, and that is to help people celebrate life. Yeah, and you know, when we say people, obviously we're talking about our guests, we're talking about each other,
Our colleagues.
exactly,
Our communities in which we live,
Precisely.
all of our business partners.
precisely. So this is essential, and we found that this was a real energy producing generator that kept everybody focused on our purpose. And then, in other words, everybody comes to work and say, well, how can I help my guests, my team members? How can I help them celebrate
life?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. I mean, it's a generative purpose of joy,
Yeah.
of appreciation for how magnificent life itself really is.
Yes. Yes.
Now, over the years, as the number of properties have grown, the company's grown, the number of staff have grown, new people have joined the company.
Yeah.
And in the orientation program and in selection of some very key people, new general managers, et cetera, I recall your team saying that we need to make sure that person gets luxified.
Yes.
Like it's actually become a phenomenon, like a sheep dip into the culture that it infuses their DNA.
Sure.
Has that become a competitive advantage for you now
There's
in
no
hiring
question.
people and attracting people
There's
and
no
retaining
question.
people?
There's no question. And certainly, you know, sometimes, you know, sometimes we've had people who come, they don't get it straight away. And sometimes they display different behaviors, which get picked up. And then we're quite quick. And then we say, well, actually, this is not how it is.
It's not who we are.
No.
Right.
So, but you know what? We recognize that everybody's different.
Yeah.
And maybe some people won't get it
Right.
first time. And some people have other strengths, which we also want. We also want. So we help people to bring them along, because very often it might not be a natural behavior. We like to try and hire it to be a natural behavior, but sometimes it isn't. And then if we can transform, why not?
Right.
Because we're helping those people
Also celebrate their own lives.
precisely,
Right, and so
lead a better life.
The clarity of that VPV, the vision, the purpose, the values, has really become such a core structural component of the culture itself.
Oh yeah, without question.
Now, at the same time, competition is watching every single thing you do.
Yeah.
And we've already seen that you've come up with reasons to go, and 2 months later, it's showing up at the neighboring property.
Yeah.
Customers are also traveling around and talking to each other in the media, and they're taking pictures and seeing what each other is doing. So they're becoming more discerning.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you see is the future of the hospitality industry and Lux's role in that, evolving it, differentiating from it? What do you see coming up?
Well, first of all, to have others imitate or copy what we do.
Yeah.
Some of my colleagues, they get bothered by it. And I don't at all. In fact, I take it as the highest form of flattery, praise, etc.
You're doing something right.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I said, look, to be a leader, you have to have followers. So it amuses me to see certain industry leaders who may say they are leaders. But I say, okay, to be a leader, you have to have followers. Who are their followers?
Yeah.
Who's following this company?
Right.
Okay. I know that we're being followed. And from what you just said, of course, we've got imitators. So therefore, we are being followed. So I think we are, of course, we watch our peer
Sure.
group. We watch what's going on in the industry. But our, through our innovation challenge, we want to be coming out with new things, new stuff, new ideas, and be a little bit disruptive.
Always out there at the front edge. And the industry knows that's who you are,
Yeah.
and the customer base knows that's who you are. Yeah. So they're always going to be looking for what's Lux doing next.
Sure.
So tell us about that. What's Lux doing next?
Well, I think that we definitely hit on something with Lux when we created the brand. There's a certain form of luxury which is opulent, which is heavy, which is
not light or brighter.
Definitely. So we hit on that, and we saw there was a demand for that.
For something lighter than the heavy, traditional luxury environment. You went the other way.
And definitely there was a demand for that. And so we've been successful. We're seeing other traveler groups. So, for example, there's a group which is known as the cultural purist. Mm-hmm. Now, this group is typically people who don't just want to go to a hotel and become a prisoner within the walls of the hotel, sort of.
Okay.
They want to explore and understand the culture. They want to visit the place. They want to get to know the people. They want to go back with a lot more than an experience of the hotel, even though
it's a fabulous experience inside the walls. And there are those customer segment that enjoy, I want to come in the walls, I don't want to go outside the walls. You're going to take care of me every moment. That's your Lux customer.
Yeah.
Now you're describing another customer segment. They want to know what's the local food. They want to get into the ground. They want to feel the native experience.
Yeah.
The cultural purist.
Yeah. And this group tends to be more belonging to the sharing economy.
Okay.
That spawned other hospitality like Airbnb, or if you go in the car, the ride-hailing industry of Uber. This more democratized economy, which and they like to share. They like to meet people. They're more gregarious. They don't want to be precious about their spaces, and so from a design standpoint, you design their hotel experience differently. So you're saying then that there's something different that's coming. Oh yeah.
That is an experience designed for people who, if they're visiting, let's say, China, they want to be in China.
Yeah.
Not just in a nice hotel that's in China.
Of course,
if they're in Mauritius, if they're in Maldives, they want to get out onto the ground, meet the people, be part of that culture.
Precisely.
And you're going to enable that, but with a different brand.
With a different brand. And then the other facet of this market is the cultural purist also tends to be another grouping, which is called the ethical traveler. So we want to take the intersection of those. You're
going to find
two.
that sweet spot right there.
Exactly.
Of ethical, eco-sustainable, appropriate, and at the same time culturally genuine.
Yeah, meaning what are we doing for the community, and how are we promoting the community? Because there are travelers who are interested in, okay, what's my dollar that I spend on this vacation? What is it actually doing for the community?
Right.
Not what it's doing for the...
Just for my own experience.
Yeah. What does it do for the community? So if we explain what we are doing for the community, and there are many things that we've thought about
and can do.
Yeah. And it's possible, and so we're definitely very, very keen on meeting the expectations of these two groups.
Yeah.
Many of whom are crossover, and they in both.
Now, Paul, the Lux service ethos that you've created and the whole style of service that is Lux, lighter, brighter, we make each moment matter. You're not going to be able to just take that group and say, now go do that for this different segment. There's going to need to be some evolution of another version of that same passion for celebration, for making each moment matter, for the 5 values, but rendered to a different market.
Oh, yeah.
How do you see that coming about?
Well, I think this is there's one word, and that word is transformation, and that's something that I believe would take us as a group to another level. Transformational experiences that we can offer for all our brands. So if we're talking about Lux, which is a group called the Simplicity Seeker, which is staying in the hotel, we can offer the Lux customer, the Lux guest, transformational experiences actually at the hotel.
Right.
With our alternative brand, the cultural purist, the ethical traveler, we can do the same thing, but differently. A lot of it would be outside the hotel.
Community, right.
For example, I'll give you one example, and that is that we could, and we're researching that at the moment. For example, we could take somebody who has a particular life skill and offer them the opportunity to donate some of your time to offer your skill to the local community.
Beautiful. So you're a guest, but you're a participant. You're a contributor.
Precisely. Yes. So we are working on that as part of our second brand. and then that becomes transformational. For example, I use my son as an example. He was coming down to Mauritius. He said, "Dad, what can I do when I'm in Mauritius?" I said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "Well, I want to give my time to maybe an ONG or an organization or people. How can I help people?" I said, "Okay, fine." So I introduced him to this organization that helps young people who have fallen into hard times, teenagers, and they provide them with a halfway house, 6-month period to try and put them on the right road. So he gave a couple of days of his time. Actually, what he did is he set up a crowdfunding website for them using his skills, and donated that time and that skill, and there it is. And through that website, they've raised money in order to fund their thing. So this is what we're working on.
The edge of invention. And you talk about it as an alternative brand, which of course is not the name of the brand. No. But you're telling us that the LUX Resorts organization is bringing out another brand.
Another brand.
That is much more transformationally oriented for that purist ethos traveler at that intersection.
Absolutely. And I think that in that lies its uniqueness, and that possibility. And, when you donated your time, I mean, even if it's an hour, a morning.
Oh, but you feel so much more as a contributor.
And a connection that can last for a long time.
Well, and I don't imagine that competition will be able to watch this and say, they put the special lighting in and the sound system, we can do the same. Here you're talking about building an entire penetrative infrastructure of connections and community and contribution in the community itself.
Yeah, and I think that's very important because a lot of time tourism in different countries, a lot of the local population, they are not touched or they don't receive direct, or they don't see it. But if one can turn this around and say, actually, you know what? It's there. It, you know, and we're making it happen so that there's not just, you know, people spending money in shops or taxis or you know, tourist attractions or hotels or restaurants. But they are really getting to the heart of communities
and contributing there.
Contributing. And this really helps sustain the tourism.
Yeah.
Because it's often a question. What's in it for me?
For me being our native original community that's here. Not just that my brother works at the hotel, but that our connection with that hospitality organization is enlivening and giving dignity to all of us and possibilities for the future.
I think it's very important.
So, Paul, we've spoken about two different ways in which you, in your career, have really been, you know, out on leading edge. One is just this whole idea of luxury doesn't require the lush, abundant, expensive hardware version of luxury. There's another that is in the experience that we create for people, the lighter, brighter.
Yeah.
And here's a whole nother one of taking what might have been, you know, kind of a habitat for humanity, go out and do something good for a community. No, we can integrate these phenomenon together so that the vacation is also a contributing vacation and enriches in much different ways. That's two. Yeah. When you think about yourself and your career and ultimately your legacy, you're a man who's going to be known, remembered, recognized, appreciated by everybody who has the privilege of working with you now. But when you look forward, how would you like to be remembered by this community called hospitality worldwide?
You know, I'm really not conscious of that. You know, I'm not somebody who is conscious about creating a legacy. You know, I definitely want to continue adding value to the company that I work with and to enrich the lives of the people that work together with me in the company and then in the larger community. And you know, if through doing that, if people remember something good has happened, then that's great. But you know, it's really, you know, I want to, you know, in all humility, want to feel that I'm doing something that I enjoy. I'm very fortunate in life to have found a passion for the hospitality industry. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm very thankful. Every day of my life, I'm thankful. And I work with some great people. I have a wonderful family. And in that, my life is truly complete. And I hope that I can motivate, inspire people to always be reaching out. And, you know, we use this expression, let's get going, but it's more a question of, you know, get out and do stuff. Don't talk about doing stuff. Don't try and shortcut. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to do things quickly. So I wanted to be the youngest general manager, the youngest this, you know. So I was always in a hurry. Now I meet a lot of people in a hurry, but they don't want to invest the time and energy and into the detail and into the nuts and bolts.
Mastering the craft.
Exactly. I mean, I really pride myself on the fact that I've done most jobs in the hotel industry. Mm-hmm. And that enables me to talk to everybody.
Everyone and anyone, and at any point along the line, from a greenfield, brand new, let's create something that doesn't exist, to let's resurrect something that desperately needs a new life, to let's notice what's changing in the world and bring forth something that converges so that everybody benefits.
So it's learn the craft, and then the things I didn't know, spend more time on. So I wasn't the greatest finance man, but I learned it from people I worked with. I wasn't doing a lot of design work, but I learned it with the different design people that we work with, and so you learn those things, but it takes time and patience. And
very good.
I think so. My message always to younger people, you can be in a hurry. That's fine. I was, and did a lot of things very quickly. But do invest your time. This is not a 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week job. If you find that you want to run away at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, this is not the job for you.
You're not in the right place.
Yeah. And you're not going to get to where you want to get to on a 9 to 5 basis.
And that's not just true of hospitality. That's in anything you choose to do.
So if you're bored at 5, forget about it. So you want to be falling asleep at 12 o'clock at night because you're so tired, exhausted from everything you've done since 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 at night that you really need to get to bed. That is investing in your future because you've used 18 hours to learn the craft, to really demonstrate your passion, your energy, and everything at your young age. That's what I did. Now, it's not a 5-day-a-week. So if you find yourself Saturdays and Sundays saying, "Oh, it's the weekend," hooray, the weekend. That's a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm happy for the weekend." In hospitality, we don't know what the weekend is. We don't know what Easter is. We don't know what Christmas is. We don't know what all the holidays are because we never get to celebrate them at all.
Well, you help your guests to celebrate them. You know what it is. You just have a different experience.
But our guests become our extended family. And our poor families are saying, where are you? Oh, I'm coming. So it is a big sacrifice. And there is no doubt about it. But for me, in this industry, hospitality, weekends, holidays were written out of the playbook. They were not in the lexicon. You never so therefore you didn't miss it. So if you don't have it, you don't miss it.
Right. That's one of the advantages of being in the industry since 1965, when you were back in hospitality school and they let you know that's what you were headed for. Yeah. But I think that's good advice for young people in any field. If you don't find yourself at 5 in the afternoon saying, I'm going to stay later because I love what I'm doing, if you're thinking about it, you're eager to wake up in the morning, if that's not happening for you, keep looking for the right area that you want to be involved in.
Absolutely. I've always said, what is the secret of how to get people to come to work because they want to, not because they have to? And there's a huge difference between the two. I want to come to work. I'm happy to come to work.
I believe in who we are and what we're doing. And this is the description you gave of the alternative brand that's going to be coming out. I can imagine being one of the people who works there, where it's my community that I'm going to help connect this guest group to in a way that's going to enrich and enliven both. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Paul, we've known each other a long time.
We sure have.
And we're working hard together, have done good work together.
Looking forward to the future.
More will be coming. Have you got any question you'd like to ask of me?
Well, Ron, it's been a long time, and I'm looking forward to working together with you and learning from you how you think you can help us reach another level.
Paul, we have an event coming up where a whole group of your leaders are going to be coming together. And one of the skills that I've developed from those 18-hour days over so many days, including weekends and holidays, is facilitating. groups to discuss and create and prioritize and evaluate and eventually align and agree on a way forward. And bringing that talent to your kind of inspiration and the creativity of your team and the experience of your team is what I look forward to doing with you together.
And me too.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Paul Jones, a legend in the hospitality industry with lots and lots of great advice and wonderful stories.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.